is good. I don't really want to do a video. I think I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this. But I don't. No, I know you guys are just itching to hear me say something. Well, I sure hope so. Anyhow, otherwise I'll be kind of wasting my time doing this stuff. But hey, on the note of this really good stuff here, I just made a fresh pot. If you want some, just help yourself. There's some cream in the fridge and sugar in the cupboard. You'll be good. If you want some tea, I got some. Hey, I even got some herbal tea here too. If you don't want the stuff with the caffeine, well, I don't have any hot chocolate in here, but I can get some in a hurry. If you want some hot chocolate, I can get some. So, whatever you want, we can make it happen for you. But I want to talk a little bit about something that, well, based on today's events, I guess. Well, maybe I'm going to talk about a couple things. I don't know. I haven't really decided. I'm just winging it here, like I usually do. And, well, working for your horses and working with your horses, well, they kind of go together even though they're two very different things. And today I was working for the horses. Again, spent a couple hours digging frozen snow trying to get the tractor unstuck and then welded up a feeder and all this stuff just to make sure the horses have food. That's working for the horses. I mentioned that in another video, so you might do an awful lot of stuff that has nothing to do. You never see the darn horses, but it doesn't mean you're not working for them. You're doing things for them. You're looking after them. Well, that's kind of what I've been doing. But I don't know. I was going to talk a bit about that again, since that was one of the things. But there was something else I was working on today too, and kind of made me want to talk about it because it was interesting. Well, this one particular horse we've been working with, it's a certain attitude or problem has kind of reoccurred. And we thought we had it sorted, and all of a sudden it's back again, and now we're starting to think maybe the source of the problem is something quite different than what we originally thought. Well, something I've talked about before is how, problems and symptoms aren't always the same thing. And a lot of times you can spend an awful lot of time fixing symptoms that aren't really the problem at all. They're just, something that shows up because of the problem. And if you don't fix the root problem, you're never going to make those symptoms go away. Now, again, we've got a horse that has been exhibiting certain behaviors, which we'll call those the symptoms. And we thought we figured out what the problem was and had it sorted, but apparently not. Maybe that wasn't the actual problem, because the symptoms aren't always caused by something obvious, and it's not always real simple. And I talked about that in my last video too, is, there's no simple answer. It all depends. And, yet again, we're confronted with those things, and people figure, hey, you should have the answer, you should be able to fix that, no problem. Well, it's not that simple, for me or anyone else. The reality is, there's lots of guys out there trying to make money off you that'll tell you, hey, I've got a real simple solution. No, there isn't one. There is no simple solution. I could sell you DVDs and training sessions and have you come to my clinics and all this stuff, and you could end up spending thousands of dollars, but still not solve a single problem for you. That's not what I want to do. I want to get you thinking, and that's one of the things I really like about this, young lady I've been helping out recently, is she does a lot of thinking. She's real observant, pays attention to the horse, takes all the pieces of the puzzle, puts them together. Doesn't always come up with an answer, but then neither do I. I kind of chuckled the other day when we were talking about it, and I said, hey, don't feel bad about not having the answer. I don't have it either. But you're on the right track because you're paying attention, you're observing the things and putting the pieces together. Well, eventually we're going to get it figured out. So, it's one of those things I just want to talk about a little bit is, things aren't all simple and obvious, and sometimes the symptoms and the problems are two completely different things. And I mentioned before how everything's interconnected. I mentioned that many times, and well, that's how those symptoms, and like I say, you fix one problem, you fix 10 symptoms. You think you're actually fixing 10 problems, you're not. You're only fixing one, but you're fixing 10 symptoms in the process. And meanwhile, your friend, boarding in same facility, they're going to be working on a similar problem, but they're going to be focused on one of the symptoms. And as a result, they're going to spend an awful lot of time trying to fix that symptom and never actually get the problem fixed. And, well, sometimes you can actually reduce the symptom. You can do things, and sometimes even by accident, in the process of working on the symptom, you might actually end up addressing the problem. But, this is stuff you got to pay attention to. It's not always black and white, obvious. I've talked about this in another video too, is thinking outside the box. Do the opposite of what you think makes sense. Well, maybe not always the opposite, but, sometimes it has to be something considerably different, because what's actually going on and what you're seeing might not be at all the same. And the way the human brain works and the way we put pieces together, sometimes that's not what's really going on, because, we're dealing with an animal that, based on their mentality and the way they think, they're reacting a certain way or behaving a certain way based on how their brain works. And when we try and solve a problem with a horse using a human brain, we don't get the right answer, because we're not thinking the same as they are. And that's really important. You got to, think the way the horse is thinking. Why is that horse reacting like that? Is it a behavioral issue because of, well, okay, it's behavioral, but why is it behavioral? Is it discomfort? Something they've learned? Is it something they're not looking forward to? Is it, well, I could go on for that one. But, it's a case of, you can't use the human mind. You gotta use the horse mind. And there's a line another guy used. I don't like using other people's lines, but I'll use my own, and I'll just word it a little bit differently. Is you gotta view things from the horse's perspective and kind of think about, how does that horse perceive the situation, or the whatever's going on, the discomfort. Is it anticipating some crappy treatment down the road somewhere because somebody previously did this particular thing prior to doing this particular thing? Now the horse thinks every time this particular thing happens, this rotten thing that it doesn't like is going to happen. I'm just giving you some examples here, and well, they're not really just examples. This is stuff you're going to run into, and you got to put all these pieces together to make things work for you and figure out what's really the problem. Is the problem actually what I'm seeing, or is the problem something else that has manifested in the horse's mind due to physical issues or previous treatment or even current treatment that we, things that we're doing that we don't even realize we're doing? So, I don't know. Where am I going with this one? I'm not even sure, but it's not always obvious what the problem is. Take your time. And if it comes back, don't get upset about it. Don't get worried. Just go, oh, well, I guess I was wrong. Let's try again. Let's think, what else could possibly trigger things in that particular way? And that's exactly what we've been doing recently. And with the horse that we're working with right now, we're actually still a little bit stumped on things, but sooner or later we're going to figure it out. It might take a while, and we're going to have to do exactly what I'm talking about. Is we're going to have to just keep putting pieces together, and problems, symptoms. Is it a physical issue? Is it a mental issue based on previous experiences in its life? Is it something that I'm doing wrong? Is it something that somebody else did wrong at some point in time? There's just, like I said, and of course, horses don't talk, and well, they have a lot to say if you're paying attention, but they don't exactly speak the way we expect them to, and it makes it very difficult to figure out what's actually wrong because they can't tell you. So you got to use your brain, figure it out, do some thinking, put the pieces together, and, well, you're going to have to work at it for a while. Nobody ever said it was going to be easy. Have a good day.